to watch it fall is a thing. This house is gonna fall, definitely, and lots of falling here. Um, anyway, the fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. What is that about? To secure their fortune and future, two ruthless siblings build a family dynasty that begins to crumble when their heirs mysteriously die one by one. All right. Yeah, this one's new. It's been out a little while. I think for a lot of horror fans have already kind of seen this, at least the ones that have had access to Netflix. Um, and from what I've seen, everybody who's seen it, or I'm not gonna say everybody, but from what I've gathered, a lot of people that I've seen either tweet or whatever about it have really enjoyed it. And Mike Flanagan is behind this one. He's done obviously several of these good series on Netflix, and to me, he's just on a roll. I missed the one previous to this. I think it was the Midnight Mass. No, Midnight Mass I saw. I don't remember what the last one was. Whatever is one before this, I missed that one. I still need to catch up. But I just watched this series. I've been wanting to, but October was crazy. Just never got the chance to, and needed a little bit of a rest in November. So catching it now. So anyway. I'll throw it off the top. I won't even kind of wait to the end to just say that this was just fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And kind of as I was watching the last episode, I'm like, I think I enjoyed this so much that, I almost want to, in my top 10, which I dread, and I know I'm going to have to do that soon for the year. I've never thrown in a series, and I might throw, be kind of I want to throw this in there. I stick to the movies, and I probably at the end of the day will stick to the movies. But if for some reason I have an empty spot there for whatever reason, I might throw this in. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was, and I don't necessarily want to compare this to, some of the other ones that Mike has done on for Netflix, because I know, he does use some of the same actors in a lot of these, and there are some familiar things about all these things that he does. This one seemed a little bit different, but it just so many things that I liked. The deaths here were great. There is, while it's not, there is a mystery to it. I guess it's not really a ghost, it's more of a demon here, and some of the other ones were more ghost related, and it wasn't. I think some of the other ones maybe were a little bit more jump scare-ish in a way, and this was more. Once you kind of got into this and got it rolling, you kind of see what was happening. You're just anticipating the death, and I enjoyed most of them, and I'll get into that in kind of a second. But kind of rewinding a little bit here to get into what is happening here. You get in the first episode introduction to two siblings and their mother. Their mother's kind of set in their ways and a little bit religious, but also works for this big company. And kind of this is set, in a little bit of a past time here, where we're going back a certain time here, not present day, and she's apparently slumped with her boss, and that's where her two children come from, and she tells them to kind of stay away from her boss, who lives in this big ass house and all that, and you see they have a run-in with him. It doesn't go well. Later they come and ask him for help, and that doesn't go well. And their mom eventually dies, and then has this really creepy rebirth and comes back and kills then her boss. And that kind of sets the stage. And you're kind of like, what is going on, and kind of what does, her coming back have to do with everything. And then, at that point you're thinking, okay, so we're setting up for a whole ghost thing, kind of like it is. And then you kind of move more into where the story is currently, and you see Mr. Usher here. I think it's Robert Usher. Was it Rod or Robert? where is it? His never where I want it to be. Or Roderick, Usher, Roderick. So you see him, and he's kind of the main guy, and then his sister Madeline. Definitely two people who have ambition, have their sights set on things, and but they're more at the end of the road here, and but they're very powerful, and nothing happens to them. And one of the things that's going on here is there's this court case that's supposedly against them, and what you find out here is that they've never been in trouble for anything, and they run a drug empire. And I think when this ends, you kind of see this kind of tied into a lot of the issues that we have now and current issues in society. But they're accused of supposedly their drug, without helping people, being very addictive and killing people. So that's obviously a problem, and they're trying to be caught in court by Augustine, or Augie, I guess they call him, and for short. And he's tried, and you find out he's tried in the past, and he's continued to try to catch them and bring them down, but he just can't. And basically what we have here is a dark and creepy conversation between Augie and Roderick in a room where supposedly Roderick, on record, is going to tell his whole story now. And then as he tells the story, it kind of flips back, and you see he has six kids, and they're all grown up now. And as he's kind of telling the story, and as the episodes move on, one by one, these kids are his kids, but young adults now, or maybe even a little older than young adults, are going to die, and die horrifically. And then you're going to see there's a little bit of a connection. There's this woman that's kind of involved in each of their stories in some way, and you're going to kind of see the kid's life, a little bit about it, what they're doing, how they die, what this woman is kind of doing to get them to die. And then, as this kind of tracks along, they have this big-time lawyer played by Luke Skywalker. Yes, I will refer to him as Luke Skywalker no matter what. A very good lawyer and very good kind of detective, whatever. And he's trying to figure out why this woman is after them and so forth as well. And, almost playing it like she's a real person, but you know that she's not. And then you're going to find out, eventually what this woman has to do with the brother and the sister here. And you'll eventually find out, how they got into their position. And they're going to sprinkle in some clues along the way. But, everything obviously comes to a head in the final episode where you finally get it. I think, horror fans, will kind of get some clue to what's going on here. I know this is based on a Poe story. I'm not well versed in Poe. I'm not an expert, so I don't know everything in the relation, and maybe that had other clues to things that are happening here. I don't know. There's certainly a raven in this story. You see it all the time. It's there, and definitely in the last episode, it seems like there were a couple of times where they're quoting a story or a poem or whatever from Poe. Again, I'm not well versed on him, so I don't know for sure or not, but I'm just going to assume so. So basically, if you're a fan, maybe you can better judge that aspect of how well that's kind of thrown in here. But anyway, obviously what I enjoyed were the deaths. Each and every single one of these kids, there's 6 of them, is going to die in horrific fashion. There is, some of them are going to see a little bit more than others. I think there's one involving an ape, and you get to see more of the aftermath than the actual death. A little disappointing, but still, it was a nice bloody mess. There is a fabulous one with the ceiling, a mirror in the ceiling, just the way they shot that death, and it's kind of done in slow motion. And I'm not always down for slow motion, but it worked perfectly here. Like, the way they did that, I think we've seen a ceiling death in Chucky, and a couple of other things, but to me the way they did this was great. I don't remember off the top of my head if we've seen it kind of like the way they did it here. Maybe we have, but I don't remember. So when I saw this, I was all excited. I was like, that was awesome. yeah, so there's gonna be blood spilled, and yeah, none of them are. You don't get to see every single one of them, but yeah, they're not gonna die in a great way. And there's one somebody else in this. Like, I don't want to give away everything here. There's somebody else who just gets another. Well, there's a club scene where there's mass. I think there's like 70 something people end up dead. Um, and then there's one survivor of that, and that just becomes gruesome. Um, and yeah, so there's definitely going to be some good times as far as that's concerned. And you know that I like that, so definitely a good thing here. Um, but I like the approach. I like the mystery to it. I like, that they kind of give you the crumbles there and little pieces of the story, and kind of where it goes. And the final episode, without trying to give away too much stuff, was just fantastic in the way they were able to just kind of. And I'm not always for the social, bringing in the social commentary and stuff like that. That doesn't always do it for me. It doesn't annoy me much when it's something like that's more fresh and new. And in remakes and sequels, it kind of bothers me a lot. I think I've said in some of my other reviews, but something like this, it's fine. There's definitely in the final episode, definitely some social commentary. I think it is hilarious. I'll just say I know someone who always tells me that they think that a lot of rich and powerful people kind of sell their soul in one way or the other, and that's how they got to where they are. And in a way, that's kind of what happens here. I don't know if that kind of spoils anything, but and there's going to be a time where they show you pictures of all these rich and powerful people, and you kind of see things, and you draw those lines. I'm almost giving away too much here. I apologize if I kind of spoiled anything there, but that's kind of the fascinating point of it. There's the whole pharmacy and killing and drug things, and we have this whole opium thing, and all these other drugs and fentanyl and things that are killing people now, and we have this whole discussion about it now, and that's kind of tied in here with them being the running this huge pharmaceutical company. And there's a fascinating also moment in the last episode where Roderick really gets faced with all the people that he died, and the way they do it is just terrific and creepy, and just all kinds of good stuff there. So yeah, there's several great speeches. The woman, the mystery woman here, is going to give a great speech in the final episode. His sister, when they kind of have a sit down here moment, she in the final episode, she's going to give a good speech. Really, one of the things that hits me is she, I think it was the mystery woman here, she says something to the fact that we have all these millionaires and billionaires of the world, and if they would just if we would just stop for 1 second and just put all, like take a certain amount of that money and put it to good, we could solve so many bad things in this world just in that. And even if you just pause for like 1 year, you'd be able to do it. And it even makes a reference that even if you like stopped making all these $1 million movies and took that money and put it towards good, you could solve so much good. And it's just, you wish you could like take that clip and put it on TV and have the news just run that and be like, why can't we stop in this world and just do more good instead of all this craziness that we do instead? But it is what it is. So the movie definitely makes a point there at the end. Whether you agree or disagree, that's up for you, or however your feelings are on it. But it's just an interesting thought and some things to think about. So, but I think for the most part, they try to keep most of the social commentary out until this final episode. It comes alive in the final episode, definitely, but doesn't take it away. At least in my point, I think they were great speeches and needed to be said, and there's some certainly things sprinkled in here or there, but it's not made as much of a point of until the end. So I really really love this. This was really really good. I liked, like I said, a lot of his other things that he did for Netflix, but this was just really good. I don't know if it's just because I just saw it and I'm still excited about it, but yeah, I really enjoyed this, so I totally recommend it. I'm gonna give it 5 pulls and a 5 for a series, because nothing I'm really going to complain about here. The acting was good. Like I said, you get some familiar faces from, either other movies and series that you've seen, or from the other series that he's already done on Netflix. And I just like, everything, the setup, the mystery of it, how it unfolds. The final was good. How it ended was good. It's just terrific all around. I really, really enjoyed this. Definitely one of the things I've enjoyed most this year. So will it end up on my top 10 list? I don't know. I've tried not to. I don't want to do that. But I'll probably squeeze in a recommendation or another reminder to watch this if you haven't. So 5 pools out of 5 for this one. I don't think I've given many series that, but I'm definitely going to give this that. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. So with that, horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Of course, tons of video ones most of this year. So like, subscribe, do everything, those things that everybody wants you to do. If not, no worries, no problem. It truly is okay. But definitely appreciate any of the support I get. Definitely check out the shorts if you get a chance. Trying to have some fun, trying to keep you a little informed, and a little bit of both, some of it courtesy of Promote Horror. And Twitter, Facebook information down below, still there, so you can still reach me there, talk about this show, other shows, other movies, things that you want me to review. Feel free to reach out to me there, and definitely also in the comment section if you want to hit me out there. And, if you did see this, did you enjoy it as much as I apparently did? And how does it maybe compare to some of Mike's other work for Netflix? If you thought that maybe some of the others were better than this, I would definitely be interested in that. And I think I've done reviews for a couple of them. I'm not sure. Like I said, I missed the one previous, and I'm not sure if I've reviewed every single one of them, but I think I've done at least one or two. Anyway, with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.